Exactly. And then moving Lane Johnson to the left side. I mean, this is actually going to be a gradual progression as Jason Peters starts to phase himself out, and Lane Johnson goes on to the other side. But just the fact that he only took 1 week to get acclimated and play against one of the best defensive ends in the nation, it really shows how versatile an athlete he is. Number one, but just shows how tense he is to really stop this guy, considering the fact of everything that's went on the past couple of days with Greg Hardy.
Lane Johnson, did a really good job flipping over. But what about Dennis Kelly? I think, a lot of people wondered why flip Johnson over, just keep him at his spot. But I think this was more to help out Dennis Kelly, who people don't really realize he was a tackle in college. He's kind of out of place and miscasted as a guard. I thought he held himself up. And quite frankly, the fact that he played well, I thought really helped them out in pass protection and in the run game.
He actually solidified that right side pretty well. His pass sets were on point. You could tell that he's better suited to be a tackle as opposed to a guard. He's too tall really to play guard. He's just a guy that, he pass sets, so he kind of opens the gate when he's at guard because he sets like a tackle. You can't do that at the guard position because you have to be a little more stout because that's the fastest way to the quarterback is through the guard. So you can't set like a tackle and play guard. So he's better suited to be out at the tackle position. And then he played well. His sets were on time. He punched the guy. He had great extension, and he fought on the line of scrimmage. And you didn't see that actually from him the whole preseason and up through the season, because he played guard for the most part. I think he did a pretty good job at, blocking who was ever in front of him. So kudos to him. I thought Matt Tobin really struggled a lot this last game, even though he was playing his natural position at guard. So, that's some stuff they have to do with Tobin right now. That's some evaluation to do because Tobin is not playing well at this point.
No, and, we were looking at the interior, Kelsey, and obviously Alan Barbary as this season has gone on. The guard play hasn't been great, but overall the offensive line, I think, is one of the big reasons why this team is starting to run the football a little bit better. The other issues would be Bradford in the passing game. I know you've been a big supporter of Bradford. I thought, let me get your opinion, Barrett. I thought in the first half, Kelly had no confidence in his quarterback.
Oh, absolutely not. But I think, he didn't have confidence in him. But I will say this. I think that Chip Kelly set in with the run game and committed himself to the run game, which actually helped him a lot a little bit because with that run game, it started to open up towards the end of the game. It's not necessarily what happens at the beginning of the game when you're running the ball, because really it's just a tempo setter. It gets that defense going, and that's supposed to be the demoralizing thing you can do to a defense is run the ball on. You talk to any defensive player, they're going to say, hey, do anything you want to do but run the ball, because it's just strength against strength when you're running the ball. And that's what they did towards the end of the game. They wore that defense out. If you look at them, they started bending over. They were tired. And that's when Murray started ripping off those longer runs in the fourth quarter, the impact runs, the 10 yards and more runs. All those runs then because in the fourth quarter because they wore them down and stuck with the run in the beginning of the game.
I'll agree. And, I thought Murray, that's the kind of Murray that you want to run the game out, kind of plod along. And Matthews, I thought, did a great job, too. I mean, his touches, he's still, to me, I think there's plays. I know we heard the phrase last year, meat on the bone. I thought there were plays where if Matthews would have had the touches, they might have had bigger runs or bigger touches. I thought while Murray did a great job, I'm not criticizing him, but I still think Matthews gives them more explosion in the run game.
Yeah, he's more of an impact player. He's a more explosive player. But it's because he has that running style that his body gets more punishment than a Murray does. He likes to run the ball very aggressively, and he gets hit a lot, and he has an upward running style, which, Lynn tend to get hurt, more often than Murray does.
Yeah.
Murray's more elusive in the aspect of, the way he runs it. But also, I think they limited his touches because he did go in with an injury. He had that groin injury, that phantom groin injury we thought was a phantom groin injury. But after the game, he didn't practice all week. He didn't get as many touches all week during practice. So I think they were trying to, keep him healthy a lot more than they were trying to run him during that game yesterday.
Well, I thought he took a shot, I thought, on the one run. It looked like he took a shot to the thigh, and he didn't come back for a while. I don't know. And he actually took himself out of the game after that hit. I'm wondering if he took a little shot to that upper thigh area that maybe, knocked him out for a couple series.
Oh, absolutely. All that stuff is connected. And, when you lift that knee up, that's where you get your driving power out of your legs, that upper thigh. I tell you what, man, you get a bruised thigh, and connected on with that groin, that could be some excruciating pain. But I'll also say this, Chip finally had a little more balance in his attack. I think it was a 35 runs. When you have stats like that, that's usually when you get the victories because you have a more balanced offense. I think they use a personnel package, 12 personnel, which runs running back, 2 tight ends. Use that a lot in the game, which offers them the opportunity to pass and run and keep a guy in to help out on Greg Hardy or chip on him or virtually have an 7-man protection to help them out getting the ball down the field.
Barrett Brooks is with us, won a Super Bowl with the Pittsburgh Steelers. You see him on Breakfast on Broad on the Comcast Network weekday morning, 6 to 8. Barrett, Sam Bradford gets a little bit redemption with Jordan Matthews last night. Matthews has had the drops. What impressed you in the second half about Bradford? We just talked about how we thought Kelly didn't have trust or confidence in his quarterback in the first half. What changed in the second half?
I think the players relied on him. Like he said, the last play of the game where he threw the ball to Matthews, he actually called it to Matthews, hey, man, we're going to you on this play, so be ready. Go ahead and end this game for us. And that's virtually what he did. I think he saw the way Matthews practiced throughout the week. He took all his number one reps as a number one receiver. But then he turned around and he emulated Des Bryant for the practice squad, on the practice squad to help the defense, which helped him out a lot because then he got the work that he needed as far as catches, as far as running routes, as far as establishing himself as a dominant player in practice. When you're playing and emulating a Des Bryant who's going to be a dominant type of receiver, it kind of helped his confidence a little bit and really showed the guys, hey, I'm coming to play this time. Don't hesitate to throw to me. And you say what you want to say. Bradford was sitting back like, I don't know if I should throw to this guy. Even though he's the number one receiver, he was kind of hesitant to throw it to him for the simple fact that he did drop so many balls the past couple games.
I agree with you because on third down, he's still looking at Miles Austin. I mean, when you're on third down and that's the guy you're locked into, that kind of tells you what he thinks of some of the other guys out there where he trusts Austin more than the other guys. That's not a good thing.
Not at all. He's the veteran guy on his team, but he's not a guy that you want to go to. Matthews is the number one receiver on this team. Whether he plays like a number one or whether he's virtually built to be a number one, he is the number one for the Eagles. Coop went out with an injury, and, of course, Nelson Aguilar didn't play because he's still injured, and, Coach Kelly decided to keep him on the sideline. He has to step up. Matthews has to step up and be that go-to guy that Sam Bradford feels comfortable with, a guy in which he could throw to and know that he's going to catch it for the first down, a guy in which he's going to believe in that wherever he throws his ball, he's got a circular, he can catch it from any direction. And that's what he did yesterday. If you look at, going down in the last drive, he caught a ball that was down at his ankle, brought it up and had, some yak yardage after he caught it. Those are the things you need for your number one receiver to be successful in this offense.
Let me ask you about the defense then. Obviously, I thought Graham played a really good game. Take that penalty out of the mix. I mean, you're matched up with one of the best tackles in football. I thought Graham won that battle, and he made a key play that not a lot of people have really noticed is that he took them out of field goal range. That could have been the difference in that game. They forced him to punt early in that game. I thought Graham really stepped up. He hasn't got the sacks or the pressures early in the year, but that was encouraging.
He went out there and dominated virtually one of the best left tackles in the league. I tell you what, he put his thing down, man. I was surprised because Smith is, like I said, he might be the number one or number two offensive tackle in the league. Tyron Smith is a guy, he's a long guy, great hands, and he's really the premier guy on that great Dallas offensive line. And you say what you want to say, that's one of the best offensive lines in the league. And I saw Graham take Smith and just really just give him the business. I hadn't seen that from him, but he stepped up and said, look, I'm going to impose my will on this guy. He pushed him around all game. He beat him on 2 sacks. Both of them were sack fumbles. He really had a good game yesterday.
I agree with that. I want to get your thoughts on Hicks, where this team would be without Jordan Hicks. We're going to find out the next couple of weeks. But, man, what a find this kid has been. What has he meant to the – I think he might be the MVP of the defense, Barrett.
There's no question. And, there's 2 ways you can tackle. You can have just a regular tackler, but also you can also have impact tackle. And that's what this kid does. He's an impact tackle. And impact is tackle around the line of scrimmage or in back of the line of scrimmage. Those are the type of tackles he's making because he plays so aggressive into the line of scrimmage. Once he reads the plate for me, he's in there. He's in his gap, establishing, making that guard get off, and then making plays behind the line of scrimmage. And that's exactly what he did, and that's exactly what these older players are starting to see that. If you look at it, I don't know if Kiko Alonso is ready to play it. He hasn't had a lot of reps the last 2 years for the simple fact he didn't play last year. He was hurt last year. So he's not getting the right reads at this point. He's not playing as aggressive as he needs to play. I tell you what, Hicks is a guy who needs to pattern. Kiko Alonso needs to pattern himself after Hicks. That's how he started out the year.
What took Billy Davis so long to make the slot switch? Because once Biggers went in there, I thought that was really a change in the game. I mean, Beasley was killing them. I'm thinking, what are they doing? I was ready to go to Walter Thurman. Why not use Thurman in the slot there? They ended up going with Biggers. What took so long there?
You know what? I think it's more so the fact that they wanted to double-team Dez. Dez is an impact player, so they had to double-team Dez. They had to have somebody bracketed over him. And when you do that, it takes really one of your best corners out of the mix, out of the game, really, because you have to put that much attention on Dez. So what happens when you do that? Your second and third receiver have to step up, and that's exactly what Beasley did. He had a masterful game also. He went out there, he played well in the slot, and he personally had 100 yards against this defense. But once they did put E.J. Biggers, and I'm not really an E.J. Biggers fan, I felt as though Macklin beat him up twice last year when they played against him in Washington. I thought he gave him the business. But for them to go and reach out and get him as a key free agent, I didn't quite understand it until now. He was definitely the turning point in the game. He locked Beasley up and virtually kept him from being the impact player that he was, before during the game.
Barrett Brooks is with us, Super Bowl champion. Watch him tomorrow morning on Breakfast on Broad, 6 to 8 on the Comcast Network, and I'm sure you'll have plenty more opinions on this game. What does this mean for Philadelphia? 4-4, they win a road game. This is the 6th straight loss for Dallas. Should we feel that this team is ready to make a move, or is this just another ugly win? I mean, I always say a road game in the division, you win those games. I don't care how you get out of them, but do you feel any more confident that Philadelphia is turning the corner after last night?
I feel confident after the Sam Bradford is really starting to get the offense now. He's trying to start to learn where his guys are going to be at. If you look at him, he's starting to understand what conceptually is going on with his receivers. So because of that, the ball's coming out on time. He's throwing the ball in a position where they can run after the catch. He's throwing guys open. These receivers aren't receivers that get open. They don't create separation well. So the ball almost has to be perfect to throw to them for them to catch it. If you look at that wheel pattern that Murray had, the ball, he didn't have any separation from the defender, but I tell you what, Bradford put it right in the breadbasket, caught him in stride, and he was able to execute that. That's what he's starting to do. Sam Bradford's starting to understand how he needs to throw to his receivers, what place and where they are supposed to be in this offense, when they're supposed to break free, what windows he's supposed to hit them in, and hitting them in stride is key to them being able to catch the ball because they're not receivers that get open with separation.
Well, we'll see, obviously, what happens next week when they play the Miami Dolphins. They got back-to-back home games, and then they play that Thanksgiving game in Detroit, Barrett. This is where I said about 2 weeks ago, they got a 4-game stretch here that they really need to take advantage of, and part one of it was last night winning that game. This is where you win. You had these 2 games at home against Miami and Tampa. They're 2 teams, and Detroit, even though you're going there on Thanksgiving, those are 3 teams that, if you really want to make a run and be taken seriously, you got to show your will, impose your will against those type of teams.
They at least need to lead this 4-game stretch 3-1. They have to. They have to execute and be 3-1 in this stretch in order to be considered a contender in the NFC East. Dallas, I think they're virtually out of it. The Giants are ahead of it right now because they haven't had the bye yet, so they're 5-4. Eagles still at 4-4. And I mean, if you look at it, Washington's still going to be Washington. So I like the Eagles' chance of still going out and winning this division for the simple fact they've knocked out the Dallas Cowboys. And, they always have the Giants card, man. And that last game is virtually going to determine who's going to be the NFC champs tonight.
I think that last week should be interesting. Will 9-7 get it done? I said before, Barrett, I've been saying for the last couple of weeks, Dallas has to find a way to win a game without Romo. Just one. I'm not asking a lot, but they haven't done it yet. But if they get it next week without Romo, when he comes back, that'll keep themselves mathematically with a pulse.
Well, they'll have a pulse, man, because 9-7 should get whoever the eventual NFC East leader the chance to get into the playoff system. They'll be number 6 seed, but, hey, they'll be in it.
Well, and if they get Romo back as a 6 seed, that's really like being a division well, they would probably be the division champion. They would get a home game. So, that's where I don't really care what your record is. Just get in. You never know what the problem the other team had all year long. Or, if you're if you get stuck playing Dallas because they made the playoffs and Romo's back, that's not a team that you want to get stuck playing. So that's why get in and see what happens right now. The Eagles 4-4. They had put themselves in position to make a nice run. Barrett Brooks tomorrow morning, 6:00 in the morning on Breakfast on Broad on the Comcast Network, and Mondays with Barrett's Breakdown right here on the Sports Bash. Thanks, BB.
Thanks a lot, man. Like I said, the playoffs, everybody's 0-0.